Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome back to my top 20 for 2020. Now, this is going to be horror remakes, and just keep in mind that this is just my opinion and how I see the films. I wanted to say a big thank you to Joe the Horror Man for helping me come up with this challenge, and a special thank you to everyone who's participated. Now, let's get started. Coming up at number 20 is When a Stranger Calls. Now, I'm sure I'll take a lot of flack for this, but I actually love this movie. And to be honest, this is not an honorable mention, but just how my thought process works. It was between this and Prom Night, but what put this over the top and made it my number 20 is, of course, the atmosphere and the house. The house almost acts like a character in this film, and I love it, especially the atrium. It is so cool. And that is number 20, When a Stranger Calls. Coming up at number 19 is Sorority Row. This is a fantastic movie. I love the remake. I like the new spin they put on it while keeping the general story of the original. It's just a really cool flick. That's number 18. Or number 19, rather. Sorority Row. Coming up at number 18 is a movie that actually didn't make the cut the first time, and that is Toolbox Murders. Now, I do love the original, but I'm going to honestly say, after watching this for the list, I actually like this more. This is a really good film by Tobe Hooper. It kind of brings back his quirky sort of filmmaking. And I actually love the second one as well. Most people hate it. I actually really enjoy it. And that's number 18, Toolbox Murders. Number 17. I'm sure a lot of people probably won't have this on their list, but that's okay. And I'm sure some people will have this one higher. But this is kind of where it plays for me. And that is the Child's Play remake. I wonder if Brad will have it on his. Yeah. I really enjoyed this movie. Maybe in the future, with multiple views, it'll get a higher rating. But right now, this is where it places. And that is a Child's Play remake. Coming up next is Evil Dead. This is also one I watched for the list that I hadn't seen in quite some time. This movie's fantastic. It's really, really gory. This is not the director's cut. I would like to get that someday because I hear it's even gorier and bloodier than this one. But it's just a really cool story, and I love the end frame to this movie. It kind of brings everything together. And that is Evil Dead. Alright, guys. Coming up next is Silent Night. Some people have a problem with this movie. I don't. I think it's fantastic. One of my favorite characters in this film is actually Donnell Logue. And I think he kind of has my whole view of Christmas, but, that's just me. This is a really fun movie, and it takes the original and does something else with it. And that's something I can really, really appreciate. Alright, coming up next. Probably won't be on anyone's list, but I love this movie. And that is Mother's Day. Once again, the thing that gets me about remakes is when you take the source material and you do something different with it, but you still keep the same story overall. And that's what this does. This is very tense. This is very mean-spirited, and it's a fantastic film. I definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. And that's Mother's Day. Coming up next is a movie that, after rewatching it recently, I like it better than the original. Probably blasphemy, but I do. And that's The Hills Have Eyes. I actually like the sequel to this one as well. Better than the original sequel. But yeah, Hills Have Eyes is just a fantastic movie, and it's done extremely well. And that's The Hills Have Eyes. Coming up next, Joe's favorite. This is where it places on mine. I do like this remake. The last time I did remakes, I completely forgot about this one and left it off my list, even though it's one of my favorites. It's definitely top 20 material for me, just not number one. But yeah, this is The Blob, and it's fantastic. Yeah. What more can you say about it? And number 11, Night of the Living Dead. This is one I also forgot about from my last remake list. I'm sure I'll do that with every single one of them. But this movie is just great. It's one of Tom Savini's best pieces of work, in my opinion. It's fantastic. With all the trouble that they had with the production of this, it turned out so good. So, yeah, Night of the Living Dead. Alright, guys, we've cracked the top 10. And coming up at number 10 is maybe a little bit controversial because it's a remake, it's a reboot, it's a sequel. It's all of those things and more. This is a fantastic movie. I love the kills in it. I love how they pay homage to the original, and the original is actually part of the story, and this film is very meta. Along with being a sequel, I still consider it a remake. And that is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Very cool. Coming up at number 9, My Bloody Valentine. I've liked this ever since I first saw it. I actually did watch it in 3D when I bought it on DVD years ago, and I had the glasses to it. I believe this one has the glasses too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It's got a whole bunch of them in there. Yeah, and that's My Bloody Valentine. Coming up next, Black Christmas. This is a fantastic remake. I do love the original. The newest Black Christmas can eat a bag of dicks, but I love this one. This is just fantastic. I love the kills. The kills are especially mean-spirited in this, and I like the backstory that we get for the killer. So, yeah. Black Christmas. Coming up next, one of my best friend's favorites, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This film is gruesome and it's mean-spirited and it's just fantastic. It had been a long time, well, when this came out, it had been a long time since I had seen the original. It wasn't one that I watch as much as I do now, for some reason. But when I saw this, I went back to the original and I watch that more than pretty much anything now, but yeah, this is really a fantastic remake. Yeah. TCM, baby. Alright, coming up at number 6 is another controversial one, and that is The House of Wax. Most people don't know that this is a remake. It's a remake from The Mysteries of the Wax Museum. But it is a remake from a movie with a different name, and Vincent Price is my favorite actor. Yeah, my favorite horror actor, I should say. Rutger Hauer's my favorite actor, but yeah. Just fantastic film. Fantastic. Alright, top 5 material, guys. What is it going to be? At number 5 is going to be Dawn of the Dead. I actually just got done watching this before I made my list. I've always loved this. For some reason, I gravitate towards this, even though, and I've always said this, zombie movies aren't really my favorite subgenre of horror. But this movie is just fantastic. It'll never be the original Dawn of the Dead, but this is damn good. Damn good. Yeah. Dawn of the Dead, number 5. Coming in at number 4, Friday the 13th. Man, this movie has so much sentimental value to me. My daughter, which is actually, I'm filming this, it's her birthday today. She took me to see this for Father's Day, and even though it was kind of awkward with all the nudity in it, it still holds a special place in my heart because she took me to see it. She hates horror movies, but she took me to see this for Father's Day because she knew I wanted to go. And it meant a lot. And that is Friday the 13th. Coming in at number 4. All right, coming in at number 3. And number 3 and number 2 tend to flip flop, but this is kind of where they are right now. Number 3 is The Fly. I love Cronenberg. I think he's one of my favorite directors. Him, Carpenter, and Coscarelli are my top 3 C's in horror. And yeah, not necessarily in that order, but this is just fantastic. It's an awesome movie. I saw this in the theaters twice, and this also has a very interesting story behind it. But I will not get into that right now. But yeah, it's just a fantastic movie. Maybe someday. All right, guys. Coming up at number 2 is The Thing. And like I said, The Fly and The Thing I like almost as equals, and they tend to flip-flop a little bit. But The Thing right now is number 2. It's just a great movie. I really don't know what else to say about this film. Although, with the Scream Factory that I just got recently, it does have a TV cut on it that's interesting. It's definitely not as good as the original, but it's kind of neat to watch. If you have the Scream Factory, definitely check out the TV cut. It's different. So, yeah, and that's number 2, The Thing. And number 1 is still Maniac. Like I said, you take an already established movie that I love and you do something different with it. And that seems to be the common theme of this remakes list. I love this movie. It's fantastic. It's different but the same, and I just don't know what else to say about it. Fantastic movie. Definitely one of my favorites of all time. I don't like it as much as the Joe Spinell Maniac, but it's darn close. So, and I hope everyone enjoyed my list. Again, a special thank you to Joe and everyone who has participated. I really appreciate it. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.